Protecting children from abuse, giving them a safe space to speak, and ensuring that their voices are heard in the pursuit of justice is the reason for this small gathering, comprising representatives of the judiciary, prosecutors, law enforcement officers, child protection practitioners, civil society organizations, the media, and other relevant key partners. There's a consensus among this group that children face a lot of trauma when reporting sexual abuse, and there's a need to minimize these while still ensuring global best practices in investigation and prosecution of cases.
I still remember one of the very first children we worked with, a little girl, no older than 8, brought in by her grandmother. She was scared, withdrawn, she was confused. By the time she came to us, she had already told her sister her story more than 3 times, to a teacher, to a police officer, to a nurse, and of course her family members. And each time, the details grew more blurry. The pain deepened and the risk of her withdrawing altogether grew. She was already starting to believe that telling her truth was more harmful than keeping silent. The existing system, even though it was well-intentioned, often fails to capture a child's truth effectively and safely. Children were being interviewed multiple times by different agencies, sometimes, in fact, mostly in intimidating settings.
So what we are doing today is very, very important for our children. So this proposal is to fortify our evidence, strengthening investigation and prosecution, and prevent wrongful conclusion by ensuring that decisions are based on facts rather than speculation, sentiment, assumption, which is pervasive in our society. Most importantly, it minimizes further trauma to children by creating a safe, neutral, and non-living environment for their testimony.
Data from custodial centers suggest that 64% of sexual crimes are committed against children. And Justice Rahman Oshodi, who presides over a lot of such cases, gives practical suggestions for making the interview protocol work.
If you look at the data we have gathered from the custodial centers, it shows that 64% of sexual crimes are committed against children, in larger part, some as young as 6 months. There are so many cases and thousands. And what I see is, how is it possible that every case will go through this process? How many centers do we have? How many experts do we have? If something happens in Badagry, do we have a center there? So before we make it a part of the law, we should think carefully, do we have the capacity? If we do not have the capacity, then we build it. I call on all stakeholders, Rolak, please, you must champion this protocol, because if we have it in Lagos State, what about our colleagues throughout Nigeria?
To the benefits of our children and the good people of Lagos State.
The launch was also used to recognize and present certificates to newly trained and certified forensic interviewers who will be key to bringing the protocol to life. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.